Oh, hey, Aaron.
Hey, Dad, how you doing?
Pretty good. Sorry, I was just searching for some photo paper. I'm helping Diamela with a poster for her school.
Nice.
All right. Sorry
No
about
worries. I was just finishing up. I got a new tripod that I'm using today and a new light source. So,
Oh, so have the ring light. I don't see the rings on your glasses.
no, can you see that though?
Yeah, I do see that.
That's
It's
from the
like,
windows more though, huh?
yeah,
But yeah, so just trying this to see how it is. And it just took me a while to figure out. It's a little bit different tripod, so
yeah.
took me a minute to get that set up. Plus, I was just finishing up my notes for some questions that came up in the community that I wanted to go over. But yeah, how was your week?
It's pretty good so far.
Nice. Anything out of the ordinary? Any go anywhere, do anything, eat anything good?
Yeah. And we had fun this morning trying to shuffle cars for street sweeping day. We don't have enough driveway space.
Yeah. Yeah, with as many drivers as you have in the house, I'm sure that's
Yeah.
that gets a little bit tricky if everybody's at home. So
Yeah.
good
And
old street sweeping day.
yep. I'd like
Out here. Oh, go ahead.
I'd like the Costa Mesa plan where if you're parked in front of your house, they don't sweep your street that day. That's the punishment. No ticket.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
to me is better
It,
than giving you a ticket for $43 for, I don't know, really. Is that critical?
yeah. Yeah, really. They have that. Is it still that way in Costa Mesa? Do you know? Or is that just
I
how it
don't,
was when you lived there
it was that way.
eons ago?
No, when we were cleaning out Aunt Jean's house, it was that way
It
too.
was still that way. Oh,
Street
okay.
sweeper had come
Gotcha.
by. There's no police with it. So that's been quite a few years now too. So maybe they give tickets now too. I don't know.
Yeah. Um, they do that same thing here in Gilbert, and it's kind of funny because you can see we don't have quite the parking problem, at least in our neighborhood, that you have in California. Orange County nowadays seems to be so many more cars per house than there ever used to be. So
Yeah, when your neighbors build those ADUs in the backyard and have two more renters in addition to whatever family cars they got, it's like,
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
overwhelming.
plus I think between rentals, like where just the house is a rental and you may be renting out rooms,
Right.
and then you've got like 4 or 5 cars based on how many rooms you're renting out. Um, and what else was I noticing too? It's just like multi-family. I think now more than ever, because I remember you were telling me about this several years ago, because they had some bond initiatives passed to upgrade the sewage because there were so many more people live per house in Orange County, so the sewage system needed to be upgraded. So I'm sure that also affects the parking issue when you've got multiple families living in a single
Right.
family home.
Yeah.
So as real estate gets more expensive in California, and you see that more and more. Um, yeah. So
Yep.
lots of new things to deal with.
Yep.
Lots of new things. So last week I don't know if I've ever talked about this. I think I've talked about this with you before, but last week we didn't do the podcast because it's what I call my wilderness week,
Oh,
where
okay.
I go and I was actually traveling at the time, so I wasn't able in a position to do the call. But I'll take a week off, not off, but I take a week and I get out of the house, and I'll usually leave on Monday, go out to the desert, and when it's in the cooler months like right now, or go up to the mountains if it's warmer, and set up camp for the week. And I'll be out there for 5 days, and I just unplug. I take some things to read. I have a few work things that I'll work on while I'm there. I fast I do a water fast the whole time I'm there. The only thing I'll consume is just like electrolyte, like salt drinks. I'll eat pickles and olives and drink the brine from them for, the salt content and whatnot. And I'll do hikes while I'm up there or out there, depending where I go. So, but it's pretty, I love it. It's so rejuvenating for me on so many different levels. So that's what I was doing last week. And that's why I was unable to do the call last week, but it was a week well spent. Like I said, it just really rejuvenates me on so many different levels, like mentally, physically, spiritually. It's such a good unplug, and I really like it because I seem to get a lot of clarity. I feel like I get a lot of clarity each time I do it. I'll look. It's part of what I do when I'm out there is I'll do some planning, and I look at what I'm working on and what I'm actually doing to achieve what I'm working on. And sometimes I just realize like I'm not focused on the right thing, you know? So anyways, I really like that. Last week was a good week for me. It was time well spent. Um, but
And if
yeah.
brine doesn't make you acidic, I guess that's an okay thing to drink. But if it's got much acid in the brine, woo,
Well,
it could eat holes in your stomach.
yeah. Cruiser and I were doing some hiking uh before at the very beginning of last week and or that weekend before last week, and we tried a few different pickle, like store-bought convenient store-bought pickle packs and whatnot, and tried their different juices or pickle brines, and man, some of them were so much saltier than other
Yeah,
ones.
I can imagine.
Holy cow, like there was a couple that were just like, yeah, not too bad, like salty, briny, whatever. But there was one that it was just like made you pucker and wince. It was pretty intense. None of them were too terrible, I'd say, on
Too
the
much vinegar,
yeah, on the vinegar part.
just
Not,
too much
not that I
salt.
remember, not like acidy in that way, but there was, man, they all had a good amount of salt, but one of them I think had 2 or 3 times the amount of salt that the other two had. Like what I think it was double of one and 3 times the other. So,
Well, if you're not
but
going to refrigerate them and they're just going to hang on a, pick rack at the, Quickie Mart, then you need a lot of salt in there to preserve it.
yeah, good point. Yep, you do. So, and it's, there's other benefits from eating, but besides the salt content, there's other benefits to eating fermented foods too. So, um, but yeah, we actually eat a lot of kimchi around here. That's kind of our all around favorite fermented food. Um, we always have a good sized container of it in the fridge, and I'll just eat a small portion, like a ramekin full. I try to eat a ramekin full every day. So and Cruz will hop in there and eat it. The other boys will pick at it from time to time. Their favorite thing is kimchi fried rice that Kristen
Yeah, you were telling me that.
uses.
Yeah, the
It's
other day.
it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, I
So
like kimchi. I'm about the only one in the family that eats it, though. So
yeah,
I have a jar of kimchi and I just go out and eat right out of the jar because I'm the only one that'll touch it. So,
yeah,
it's my germs.
nice. Yeah, we like kimchi. Well, I like kimchi. I think the girls like it too. Um, I think Cruz and I probably like it the most, but
I remember the first time that I tried it when Nana made it. Oh my gosh, just the smell. I was so repulsed. But,
yeah,
once I ate it and then once I tried it some different places and,
yeah,
um, I like kimchi a lot now. But when you first have it, it's kind of a repulsive food.
yeah.
And,
I remember that too. I remember the smell, but also remember liking it
yeah.
from the get go. I remember
Oh,
like not wanting to try it, like smelling and going, "Oh my gosh!" But Nana had given us other things to try that I like at first. I was like, eh. and I ate them, and they were good. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
you remember when she'd get that dried octopus,
Oh, yeah.
and
Right.
and who in middle America is going to eat dried
Sure
octopus
happened.
back
Yeah.
in the 70s and 80s? You know what I mean? And but I was willing to try it. I didn't want to hurt her feelings. And you start chewing on it, and you're all, hey, this is pretty good. And it was the same thing with the kimchi. It was like, wow, that smells pungent and bad. And then you eat it, and I'm like, oh, because I always liked
Well,
pickled things.
I don't think once I tasted it, I didn't dislike it. And I was surprised that it was a lot better than it smelled,
Yeah,
but I still wasn't a fan. The other thing I really like, but there again, I think I'm the only one in the family. They have those salmon chicharrones at Costco. That
made from salmon skin.
Yeah, salmon skin, dried salmon
Really,
skins. Oh my gosh!
that
And you can
sounds
smell it
interesting.
a couple of aisles away. But they are so tasty. But they are quite fishy, and I never brought a package of them home because Mom would not allow me to even sleep in the house at night. I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's not the kimchi buckets are enough, but fish, oh my gosh, that
That's that
is
whole nother level, huh? When I went to Peru with Widge, we went to uh, one of the families that she got really close to while she was living there, and they've she made us all kinds of stuff to try, all kinds of classic Peruvian dishes. It was awesome. Like, we were hanging out there for the
guinea pig,
afternoon and the evening, and it was really just awesome. We had things like lomo saltado.
right? Guinea
They
pig,
have this. What's that?
guinea pig.
I did not actually.
There was a
No, I didn't.
Peruvian
I had
place.
llama hearts while we were there, but I didn't have guinea pig.
There was a
Lid
by
Liv had it
had
though.
guinea pig, and it was
Yeah,
good. I mean, but
yeah,
it was so much spice and stuff like that. I really
yeah,
probably couldn't identify exactly what the meat tastes like
yeah,
because it had so much spice and whatnot with it. And not hot spice, but just strong, spicy
yeah.
uh,
Strong flavors.
flavors that were with it. So I'm not
Hmm.
sure what the meat tasted like, but it was good. It was okay.
Yeah, yeah. Liv said it's not bad at all. It's just the thought of seeing it, because I think the first time she had it, they had a live guinea pig, and so they like went through the whole process of like preparing it to be cooked and everything. So I think that was like, seeing where you food, kind of like the story that you used to tell about when you were doing
Yeah, jury
jury duty, and
downtown.
someone had heard about those great Chinese restaurants. You all, oh yeah, yeah, we used to go all the time. You took them there, and once they realized that you pick your animal out of the
Yeah,
cage, for whatever dish you're gonna have,
yeah,
like they were all, let's go to a different place.
yeah. Yeah.
let's
We don't
let's
want
go hit Panda Express.
to. Yeah.
We don't we
Well,
don't we
I
don't
was
want the
trying to.
connection between our food and where it actually comes from.
No, I was trying to talk them into going to Lasorda's restaurant downtown LA, Italian restaurant.
Hmm.
And they didn't want to do it. They'd heard about the Chinese restaurants. They wanted to try those. So I said, well, I like Chinese food. That's fine. So we got over there and they're saying, oh, look, they got all these bunnies and ducks and chickens and fish tanks out in front. These people really love pets. And I said, no, no, you pick the one you want. They get it out of the cage and prepare it for you to eat, you know? And then the
Yeah.
ladies were like, wait
Nope.
a minute, meat comes from the supermarket, not from a living animal.
Yeah. Not from
So,
adorable pets.
yeah, we went to Lasorda's.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Was Lasorda's good?
Oh, it was great. I don't
Was
even
it
know if
really?
it's still there or not, but it was good Italian food.
Yeah.
It really was. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, when we were in Peru, that lady had made us all just a ton of stuff. She loved to cook. She was a great cook, and she was making us a ton of Peruvian classics. And one of them was chicharrón de pescado, which is
Skins.
fish chicharrón. And
Yeah.
so she would slice up these little pieces of fish with the skin still on, batter them, and deep fry them, and they were delicious. I mean, when you fry just about anything, it makes it
Yeah.
that much
Yeah.
better, right?
Right.
but it had you'd get that outer crunch, like that fried chicken crunch, and then you'd get in, and there was like, that a little bit of fatty, juicy layer. I don't remember what kind of fish she was using. I remember we went to the market with her,
To pick
um,
it out.
yeah, to pick it out because I was like, "Oh, hey, listen, this is so nice of you to let me buy the food, and if you're gonna go to all this trouble and cook it for us, let
Yeah.
me buy it." So we went to the market, walked through this open air market, picked out all the fish, the chicken, everything we wanted. That she was gonna make the beef, um, and all the vegetables, all the herbs. It was really cool because, like, we bought everything that she used to make, like, other than a few other little, salt and pepper and some other little bit of seasoning.
Things on
Like,
hand.
we got fresh herbs, fresh vegetables. It was really just a cool experience. And that chicharrón de pescado was so good. Like, just like that little bit of fattiness inside. And then, the fish was tender and succulent. It was really good. I'm not a huge fish fan, but I've definitely had it sometimes where I loved the way it was prepared and absolutely loved it, you know what I mean? So, that was one time.
Yeah, and Kellen loves those, you get those seaweed wrappers for your, sushi things that you're
Yeah.
making.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we bought those one time, and Jody made it for him, and then it was a huge package that had, I don't know, a lot of seaweed in it, and then Kellen ended up eating all those for snacks,
Yeah.
the straight seaweed.
Yeah.
S
Our kids do the same thing.
Yeah.
They sell them at the dollar store by us.
Do
And
they
and
really?
yeah,
Oh,
and they have them at Trader Joe's too, as a matter of fact, and
oh,
Kristen will get a package of them there. And I think they have them at Costco or Sam's now too, because she's
yeah,
gotten
they
them
do.
from several
It's a
different
huge
places.
pack at Costco.
Yeah. So, but we first found out about that from our friends Ezra and Michelle, and they're both of them. Their parents are Korean. I mean, they're Korean too, but they're as
Right,
American as we are. They
yeah,
were born and raised here in the States, and we were over there one time, and they've invited us over for dinner multiple times, and they'll do like a Korean spread, like a bibimbap, or just like a home style Korean barbecue, and they always had those little seaweed wrappers, and we'd get over there and their kids would just be unwrapping them and just eating them, plain.
there you go.
But we would use them to wrap stuff in, a little bit of rice, a little bit of kimchi, a little bit of bulgogi or something else, and it's yummy. So those are good. Our kids like them. It's funny to see things I don't think kids my generation would ever touch, and my kids are just, that's awesome. We went and got Korean last night. Actually, we went to
Oh, did you?
H Mart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh, they got like a deli there or
they have a food court.
a food court?
Um,
Oh,
yeah. So, and right next to
over at
the
the
H
one
Mart by
by
us, they have a Korean hot dog or corn dog place.
oh,
Have you ever had a Korean style corn dog?
I never have.
Oh my gosh, they're really good. Do you like corn dogs?
Yeah, I like corn dogs. Once or twice a year. I'm not a big corn dog fan where I'm eating them all the time, but every
I
now
like
and then
corn dogs.
I do really enjoy a corn dog, but
Yeah,
it's
the
not.
Korean style ones are really good. Like, one of the ones we got is a potato one, so they like batter it and then they roll it in these potato cubes. And then roll it in potato cubes, deep fry it, and then they have different sauces they put on it. They'll put like ground up hot Cheetos on there to give it a little spice. And then on the inside, they have a regular sausage, a regular hot dog. They have a spicy hot dog that you can get. You can get a half and half, where it's half mozzarella cheese, half hot dog, which is that's one of the ones we got last night.
Yeah,
But they'll have like a mayonnaise, like ranch type sauce that they'll drizzle on it. They have one that they roll in some like sweet, crunchy powder, slightly sweet. It's like I can't remember. It's like some bean or something that's dried and ground up. It just gives it a crunch and a little bit of sweetness to it, right? And then they'll have a spicy sauce that you can put on it too. So it's just a good combination of textures, crunchiness, ooey gooey from the cheese. Then you got the sausage. It's and then a lot of different flavors: sweet, sour, spicy, salty. So they're really good. So we got a couple of those to share, and then everybody just went and picked like one dish from one of the. I think there was like 7 or 8 different shops at the food court, and so everybody went and picked something out. So we've got like some japchae, the Korean style glass rice noodles. We got some bulgogi. We got a tonkotsu, like a pork katsu that was pounded out thin with like that Japanese curry sauce like Hiroko used to make. Um, and we
So
got
how
another
was it? Did
noodle
it
dish.
compare with like that banchan chicken or love letters or some of the
Yeah,
places?
yeah, like, and that's the other thing. We didn't get it last night, but we usually get some Korean fried chicken, but no one picked that last night. And also, you know what we got for dessert too, Dad? I'll tell you how those compare. But we got Snow Time, which I think you've had before too. The fish shaped waffle cones where they'll put like
Yes.
custard or
Right.
Nutella or like blueberry cream cheese or something in the middle, and then they have a couple different flavors of soft serve like
Topping and yeah,
taro and
right.
vanilla. But I would say compared to banchan, I've had the Korean fried chicken at this food court before. It's not as good as banchan, and definitely not as good as Love Letter, which is our all time favorite, as we've discussed often. But it's good. You wouldn't be disappointed. Like if I said, "Hey, I'm going to take you to this place," it's not as good as these places, but it's good. You know, if I set that expectation, I think you would enjoy it.
I'm gonna
And
have
the other
to
dishes, they're solid too. None of the dishes are like our favorite place to get those dishes, but to be able to get a bunch of different things in one place, that's what we like about it.
yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out because we got a H Mart up there,
Yeah,
and I've never been to it. Usually if depending on what we're getting, we'll go to the Vietnamese market. But
yeah.
so we've never even really tried the H Mart. I'll have to see if they've got the food court there too. That sounds like fun.
I bet they do. And the other thing they have, I think you have one right next door.
Uh huh.
But they have it inside also is that Paris baguette, which you know, there's some nice baked goods there. I know Mom's mentioned it before. So, but yeah. Anyways, we had a good had a fun time last night, good meal. So, but anyways, well, I guess we better jump into the topic. So, one of the questions I wanted to go over today, and probably it's what we'll spend all the time discussing. And I don't know what you've if you've read about any of these, or if this is going to be something new for you, but um, Michael Saylor, his company's strategy has come out with 4 new offerings, investments um, that you can buy, and so there's STRC, and I didn't, you know what, I
They
didn't put in my
stable
notes.
coins or
No, they're different like stock offerings or investments that you can buy
ETF?
from strategy.
Oh,
and and they're similar. I would say they're similar to annuities,
oh,
and I'll
nice.
talk a little bit about that later. But it's a way to get like a guaranteed or a semi-guaranteed return on your Bitcoin. And I think at the end of the day, um, I would compare it to an annuity, to where I think what strategy's trying to do is give you like um,
You can
a
still
fixed
hold it,
income.
but you can make money on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You get a return. Like they'll hold your Bitcoin for you. They're gonna make. They're gonna. They're. I think what their strategy is that they're gonna make more money off of the growth of Bitcoin and its value than they are paying out people that hold this investment. And I do like that it's something that you can hold and it'll continually pay out. It's a way that it's a way to get an income from your Bitcoin without having to sell your Bitcoin, right? So so the first one is STRC. Um and this one basically it's trying to keep kind of a fixed price. It's it wants to try to stay around $100 in price. It's going to pay you out if you own this one, it's going to pay you out uh is it this one 8%, around 9% return annual that you'll get paid out for holding it. Uh, Yeah. So, and it basically this is Bitcoin backed. So if you put dollars into this, they're going to convert the dollars into Bitcoin and and pay you an income from this. So, and from the research I've done, the STRC is it's the safest of the four. It's like the lowest risk, right?
Probably the low.
I think your biggest risk is if Bitcoin goes down significantly after you put money into it, it might pay less, right? But over time, I think it's going to adjust itself as
Right.
Bitcoin continues to grow and
But
pay you
this is
more.
not, you're buying it from them, not, you're not moving your Bitcoin from your wallet to
Exactly.
their custody.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly what you're doing. So you're going to buy this on a normal exchange,
Okay.
right? So if you have like some Bitcoin in an ETF or whatever, you could convert that Bitcoin or that ETF to shares in that one to shares of STRC or any of these. Or you can buy it with cash. But I think for now the shares are denominated in dollars, not in Bitcoin. Maybe at some point in time there will be a market where you can do that, which I hope long term we have a market where you can buy, not just um Bitcoin and assets like STRC, like these strategy offerings, but also you can buy other stocks with Bitcoin. I'm hoping that's where it goes eventually, right? So we can get things denominated in Bitcoin. We don't have to sell our Bitcoin. We can, hold it in those things. But there is a chance that Bitcoin will so outperform these different stocks that we may not want to convert Bitcoin into it.
Yeah.
But they're anyways, I think there's some options there. But I do like these what strategy is doing. I do like that they're trying to create a way um, to create an income from your Bitcoin,
Yeah.
right?
That's
Even if you have to convert your Bitcoin to cash or whatever. Um, uh, I don't know that you'd want to do this inside like a tax advantage account, like a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k or something like that, or an HSA. Because I think long term Bitcoin's going to outperform this thing. But if you're getting towards where you're going to be taking, you're going to reach a point where you've reached financial freedom and you're going to be living off of these things, this may be somewhere that also in addition to using it once you are in financial freedom and once you're in retirement, you might want to use this to create an income for yourself and keep the value um, based on Bitcoin instead of dollars, but you're going to get 8% of what you put in
mhm.
year to year. So, but yeah. So the next one is STRK. So STRK is more like a stock, um, I would say, and you buy shares of it, and then the money can be reinvested just like you would if you bought it like an ETF and you chose to get if the ETF had dividends and you choose to reinvest. I think STRK, from what I understand, is the same concept, and that's going to pay about 8% annually. Um, and I guess this one can also be converted into stock in the company strategy, the regular stock of the company. And I'm not 100%. I do own some of it, but I'm not 100% familiar with how they pay out dividends and whatnot. But
The 8% is what you would get. And if Bitcoin performs better, you're not going to get more.
exactly,
But if it
exactly.
performs less, you're
Yes.
going to get less. Okay.
Yes, and that's a great point to bring up too. And so I'm comparing some of these, all of them. You could compare them, I think, to an annuity, and I'll get more into that later. But the annuity is doing the same thing. It's taking your money and it's attempting to pay you out a certain fixed percent over time, right? Well, and they are banking that they can make more money. They can make more money wherever they invest it, and they'll collect the difference.
Right.
And so that is what is happening here as well. Like you'll own a certain amount of shares in this, and the value will go up or down, or it may remain neutral. Like STRC, I think the goal is to remain neutral. If you put $100 in there, they want to keep the value at about $100, and they'll pay you out the difference when the value goes up to a certain point, like up to 8% or something like that. The good things about the STRK and my simple summary from my research is that you're going to earn some money from this. It's denominated in Bitcoin, or it's backed by Bitcoin, I should say, not denominated. And you might get more on STRK value if the company does really well. So if things are going really well with strategy and with the STRK fund, you have a potential to earn more than 8%, right? The bad part is the risk on this one. This one's more tied to the performance of the value of the stock. If the stock goes down, and you want to go and trade this in, your trade-in value for selling this could be a lot lower. They're not trying to maintain a certain value like STRC, trying to keep it around $100 a share. So this one could go up or down. If it's really backed by Bitcoin, not denominated, but backed in Bitcoin, I don't think that's much of a risk over time, but it is a risk. It's something you would have to account for. And so the next of the four, number 3, is STRF. This, again, is another one from my understanding. It's wanting to act kind of like a stock that pays like about a 10% dividend each year. All right. So this one's a little bit more aggressive than the 8% ones. It also, you get a premium for investing in this one. All these funds end up getting managed by Strategy, which, to my knowledge and from what my research, it seems like they're going to put all of this into Bitcoin. So they're just looking at 4 different ways to pay people an income from it, but it's ultimately it's funding their purchase of Bitcoin. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Okay.
So there are some rules that will protect you if the company misses payments on this one, right? So it's a premium stock. It gets paid before it gets dividends paid out before other stockholders, other types of stock for the company. And if you miss payments, they have put some rules in place to make sure those are made up. So if you hit a time where the value of Bitcoin's really down and the value of STRF is really down, you may miss some payments, right? So there's that risk there. You're exposed to more risk because you're trying to get a higher payout, 10% and 8% over time. You're bearing a little bit more risk that if things go down for a while, you're not going to get paid. Whereas, if you put it into STRC, this is, they're trying to keep it at $100 and they're trying to pay you 8% per share annually. Whereas this one, they're wanting to pay you more, but there's more risk and you're going to bear part of that risk too, right? So when it goes down, you may not get the income you want. So if this is something where you're getting a fixed income from it, STRF may not be the one that you want to use. STRC is more of what you'd want to use. It's more like a true annuity where it's seeking to pay you out a certain percent every year. But yeah, and then the risk, like I said, it does depend on the performance of the company for STRF and Bitcoin. So, which really at this point in time, Strategy's performance as a company, in my mind, is completely attached to Bitcoin. I think their software sales part of their company is pretty small at this point compared to their assets holding Bitcoin, and all of that all their cash that they generate from their software operations goes into buying Bitcoin for the company anyways. So, okay. And then the last one, or the fourth one, is STRD. And this one
Sounds sturdy.
Yeah, sturdy. There you go. I wonder if they had any intent on naming it that way. But STRD, this one's going to pay the most money.
Okay.
About 10% each year. This one is going to be paid last out of the other types, right? So if you're looking for a guaranteed income, again, you want to go to the STRC. It's going to be, that is the best guaranteed income. If you're trying to use this to have a steady income in retirement or in your period of financial freedom in your life, or if you're maybe you put this into a trust and you want to pay out your your heirs and benefactors on a steady schedule, STRC is going to be a lot better. But if you're willing to take more risk, if you're willing to be patient when the market or Bitcoin are down or strategy is down, STRD is going to pay you the most, should pay you the most over the long term. But now you're bearing even more risk. Not only, if they miss payments, and you're not getting paid first like you would be on STRK,
You're getting
or
what
STRF, excuse me.
leftovers are left.
Yeah, you're getting paid last. So you're willing to take more, like you're getting a higher percentage paid. Like this is going to be closer to paying you out what you would get if you had invested in Bitcoin. But just like with investing in Bitcoin, you're going to be more subject to volatility. You're going to be more subject to the price of Bitcoin and of this version of stock in the company going up and down in price. So when it's low, you're not going to get as much money. When it's high, you're going to get a higher percent. And over time, if Bitcoin continues to do what it's been doing, I think this is going to be the best performing of all these four versions of stock for that you can buy in strategy. But you just have to be prepared. Like if you need a fixed income, but you want some extra income and that you can not necessarily bank on, but that may supplement. But if it's not there, you're not going to die. You could maybe take like 50% of the money that you want for producing income and put it into STRC so that you have that
Guaranteed 8%.
Yeah, as close to a fixed income as you can at 8%. And then you could put the other half into STRD, where, it may not pay out, but when things are going good, when Bitcoin's up, and over time, I think, Bitcoin is going to go up and up and up. And so I think your risk is really going to be limited more to the first 4 years you own this. And after that, I think your value is going to be up above and beyond where you bought it originally. And so it's going to perform better. But yeah, so this one's the most risky of the four. But if you wanted to use it in conjunction with like STRC, you could do that to, split to your
guaranteed income. Yeah.
Yes. Guaranteed and income potential, the potential to get more income. So, but yeah, just to review that, I put together a little table here. I might need to put a post in First Step Bitcoin too as well, so people can see this. But quick summary: STRC, the money you get changes every month, but it is the safest. It wants to maintain a price of about $100, and it pay you out about 8% annually. STRK again wants to pay you out about 8% annually. It's more annual set, whereas STRC is more on a monthly base. It might go up and down a little bit, but it's going to be about 8% over the year. STRK is going to be about 8% just over the year. It's not going to adjust monthly. It's a little bit more risk, and you can convert that into regular stock if you want. STRF is going to be about 10% each year. You're going to bear more risk, but you will get paid earlier than the others, but you're more subject to the volatility of Bitcoin with this one. And then STRD is going to be 10% or more, as I understand it. It has the least amount of guarantees. And I should say this too. This is when I talk about the risk on this, I think the risk it's a little different than risk in Bitcoin, where I think Bitcoin is a low risk, high reward investment. I measure risk by the track record of a company, an asset, or commodity like Bitcoin, where Bitcoin has going on, 17 years of keeping people's money safe and growing it higher than anything else I'm aware of over those last 17 years. So I would say in terms of risk, Bitcoin is a very low risk investment. Now, when you pair it with, buying STRD, the risk is not just in Bitcoin anymore. Now it's in what's the track record, which at this point is small, but MicroStrategy has been acquiring, accumulating, and managing Bitcoin for over 4 years now. And they are building up a track record of being a good fiduciary with their own Bitcoin. And so I think you can take that as a place to start building trust with them. But I would not say this is as low risk as Bitcoin. I do think you're spreading the risk across not just Bitcoin, but strategy and their management. And so there is additional risk there. And you're more subject. So when the safety of this is, like STRC is like the safest or whatever, I would say it's not even the safest. It's the least volatility. It's the least amount of fluctuation. STRK is going to be a medium amount of fluctuation and what you'll get paid out when. STRF is going to be medium high, and STRD will be the highest. You'll be subject to more fluctuations in when you get paid and how much you get paid. But over time, they're willing to pay you more to bear part of this risk with them. So, does that make sense? Do you have any questions at this point, Dad,
Oh,
about any
that
of
makes
those?
sense. I mean, the thing that I was questioning at first was whether or not you had to let them have custody of your Bitcoin. But
Yes.
you're actually not even buying it in Bitcoin. You're buying it in dollars.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's a good point. Like I think everybody needs to know that you are buying a Bitcoin backed um, investment, but it's not paid in Bitcoin. It's not denominated in Bitcoin. I believe just at this point in time, everywhere you buy it, you're going to spend dollars for it. But the fact that they're trying to use Bitcoin to create an income for you, I do think that, and this is a question that comes up quite often, there's been some attempts to, for different companies to act as banks and loan out people's Bitcoin and pay you a return on that. I don't see that any of those attempts have been super successful thus far. As a matter of fact, in 2022, a bunch of these companies
Folded.
really went under,
Yeah.
or their subsidiaries that they had where they were trying to lend out people's Bitcoin and make a return on it. This seems like a much better way
Yeah.
to me, and much more trustworthy. I think. I'm not saying again. I still think MicroStrategy has something to prove. Or strategy. I'm sorry, they're not MicroStrategy anymore. I still think Michael Saylor and strategy have something to prove to all of us here that they can manage this going forward. But the longer they're able to do this, I'm willing to put some money in to test it out. I don't need an income from my Bitcoin at this point in time. So I'm not so worried about, this isn't as attractive as an investment to me as it is going to be to other people who are closer to reaching financial freedom or retiring.
Right.
But anyways,
Yeah. And
yeah,
starting the end of this year, or I don't know, JP Morgan Chase said by the end of the year, you're going to be able to borrow money on your Bitcoin with using it as collateral.
yes,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And they're not the only ones that are trying to do that.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not a big fan of our banking industry. I don't think people view banks as very low risk because the government backs them up to 250,000 per bank. Like if I have, $250,000 or less in a bank account and all my different accounts with that bank, it's protected by FDIC insurance, right? And unfortunately, I think our banking industry has relied on that insurance to allow them to take risks with their the people that have accounts with them with their money that time and time again they've gotten burnt on.
Yeah.
Um, and the only reason most of our big banks are still solvent is because the Fed and FDIC have bailed them out
Too
time and
big to
time
fail.
again.
Yeah.
They're too big to fail. They don't really have skin in the game. They're not learning their lessons. I am not a fan. I think when I say that risk is their track record of keeping our money safe and growing it, I think they have a terrible track record. And so when those big banks talk about taking our Bitcoin and making an income for us off of paying us interest on it, loaning it out, I'm just like, man, I just do not trust these people. They don't have a track record.
That's why
There's
I was
probably some
concerned.
smaller banks that do, but
Yeah. That's why I was concerned whether or not you had to give them custody of your Bitcoin
Right.
because I don't really want to trust somebody else with it. It's
For
like,
sure.
I mean, I'm not wealthy. I don't have a lot of Bitcoin, but what I got, the purpose of it is to have a holding place where it's going to grow as much as Bitcoin grows. That's what I'm looking forward to, is the phenomenal growth history that you get, hoping that's going to continue on in the future. But if I got to turn that over to somebody else and put it on deposit with them to let them give me a guaranteed income, then yeah, that doesn't sound too attractive.
Yeah, for sure. And that's where at this point in time, I'm more likely to trust Strategy and Michael Saylor than I am the bigger banks that are trying to lend out against people's Bitcoin. And I think you bring up another really great point, Dad. Like you do have to, at least how we've seen it so far implemented, you do have to surrender your Bitcoin to the people who are lending it, so they have custody of your Bitcoin. Right. And there's definitely some fraud that happened several years ago that was exposed where they weren't holding your Bitcoin in Bitcoin. And a lot of people ended up not getting the amount or full amount of Bitcoin or other crypto that they put into um, those organizations. So, yeah, there's a lot of risk there in my mind, a lot more than a lot more than strategy. I think strategy is off to a good start for custodying Bitcoin, but this is a new offering. So I think anybody who wants to look in this, you need to be a little bit careful or cautious with it. So, and I had talked earlier about how they're comparable to annuity. So I had some things that I um, researched where they're like annuities and where they're different. So all four of these can be compared to like a Bitcoin based annuity in the sense that they pay you money regularly, like monthly or quarterly. The payments come from a company that owns a huge amount of Bitcoin, right? That's where they're investing it, just like an annuity company is going to invest it in stocks and whatnot. And they use the profits from those investments to pay you a regular income. Same thing, but we're just doing it in Bitcoin. They're designed for people who want steady income. That's what they're trying to offer is here, put us this money, we'll invest it in Bitcoin, and we're going to do, depending on which one you use, you're going to get from really steady to hopefully a steady
Amount of
um, income,
dollar
right?
return. Right.
Right. You can hold these for a long time. That's another way they're like annuities, right? They give you Bitcoin exposure without you having to buy Bitcoin yourself, right? Just like an annuity allows you to have exposure to the stock market without you having to manage or having someone else manage that for you.
Right.
And these again, they're like Bitcoin and like an annuity as well. They're not meant to be traded fast. These are not like for trading. These are for hold and earn, right? Whereas like with Bitcoin, hodling Bitcoin, you're holding to gain value in it. These ones you're holding to earn an income. You'll earn an income as you hold these things. So in that way, they're like Bitcoin powered income machines or Bitcoin powered annuities, but they are different from annuities. They're not true annuities. They can lower or stop payments if the company has trouble, right? So you are bearing the risk that if the company has trouble or if Bitcoin has trouble or is way down, like recently, Bitcoin has been 30% off of its most recent all-time high. There's nothing unhealthy about the fundamentals of Bitcoin. The hash rate is great. Like all the things that you want to look at that indicate whether Bitcoin is doing well right now or not show that Bitcoin is doing well. It's just general everybody's feelings, not just about Bitcoin, but about stock market investments, bonds. They are all really down right now as we're going through this time of I would say just uncertainty and doubt in
Right.
with all the tariffs and the trade wars. I do think there's some point to I think people are taking money out for the holidays and that's affecting all of this, not just Bitcoin, but other investments as well. So anyways, where annuity is going to guarantee you to pay out when in downtimes, some of these investments are going to pay you a little less or a lot less depending on the state of Bitcoin and the state of the company's strategy. These investments are not insured. Um, The payout is not guaranteed for life. These are ways that they're different from annuities. They do depend heavily, like we talked about, on strategy doing well, right? So it's not just Bitcoin that needs to do well. Strategy needs to manage these funds well. And we don't have a long track record of that at this point. So over time, you could build this up. If you're thinking super long term, I'm thinking maybe you start off with a regular annuity at this point in time and start easing into um, one or multiple of these
Grant
strategy
offerings.
um,
Yeah.
offerings, yeah, over the next 4, 5, 10 years as
Mhm.
they build up a track record of doing well with this. Bitcoin's price matters in the payouts of these things. Um, and the nice thing too is you can buy and sell them. So this is how they're different, but this is a positive difference. You can buy and sell these anytime, unlike annuities. So annuities, you're getting into like a long-term contract to hold these things. My understanding, I've never invested in annuities myself, but you can sell your annuities, but um, usually you have to sell them, or the people who are willing to buy them uh, want to do so at a discount. So they realize they're doing you a favor because you need a lump sum payment, and so they're not going to offer you full face value for that. But these ones you will get full face value. So this is a difference from annuities where it's actually good. Um, and they are not regulated like normal insurance products or annuities. So, that's it. And that's not saying they're not regulated. They definitely are by the SEC,
Just
but
different. Yeah.
there's a different, yeah, it's just a different set of regulations, a different regulator. So,
Yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing your table in First Step Bitcoin. Uh,
yeah,
yeah. That sounds interesting.
yeah, I'll throw that in there. I have just a little bit more of information. If you need to go, I don't know if you're running out of time, but if you need to go, I was just going to cover how people from different age groups use this, and how you can use it for passing on wealth as well.
Oh, okay.
Um, but just some quick notes. Say you're in your 20s. Which one of these would you use and why? Probably in your 20s, I would think you'd want to use STRK. Um, and you're going to get a fixed amount of like 8% a year. I'm thinking maybe this is someone who's inherited a bunch of money, wants to live off of it. That's where this case scenario would work, by the way. You still get a chance for growth because it can be turned into regular stock. So, and I don't think I made that very clear, but the nice thing about the STRK is the stock price of STRK, the purchase price may be, let's say it's $100 now, but let's say in 4 years, it's $200 per unit for the stock for the price of regular stock. You can now buy that 200 that thing that's worth $200. You can convert yours into that stock, and you only paid 100 for it. So that is how you can why that's a benefit to convert that into regular stock. And then also, you have this one's a little bit more risky, and as a younger person, you can usually handle the up and downs better. If you're in your 30s, you probably would want to still use STRK for similar reasons as someone in their 20s, or maybe STRF. And STRF, um, you might want to use STRF because you want a little more income than 8%, right? And it's a kind of a middle ground between growth and safety. I think STRC and STRK are more on the safety side, or I don't want to say safety. I want to say lower volatility on this. And the most of the risk, I think, is going to be on strategy, as I've said a few times. But I think on this one, STRF, you might be shooting for more income and willing to ride out some of the volatility of Bitcoin. In your 40s, you probably would want to go with STRF because at this point you're wanting more income. It's safer than, say, STRD, and it could be viewed as a good balance for people in their peak work years. I, I think that's true. I think you could make a case where you might want a little bit more fixed on this as well, depending on your tolerance for risk, right? Or tolerance for change. I would say not your tolerance for risk as much as like can you handle changes in the amount of money that you're going to be getting from this? If not, I think you need to go with STRC, not STRF, um, because you'll have a much more fixed payout as opposed to that. Um, Now, as you get into your 50s and beyond, I think this is where, depending on how long you're going to be working and how much money you need, if you're not going to be working for much longer and you're wanting a more stable income, STRC is probably where you'd want to go. STRF, if you're still going to be working for a while, you don't plan on retiring anytime soon or needing this money anytime soon, you'd probably want something that's going to earn better. So that'd be STRF. Now, as you get into your 60s and beyond, this is really where you are going to be living off of this money for most people. And I would say that's where you really want to stick to STRC because you have the lowest amount, you're susceptible to the lowest amount of change and how much
You're
you're
most
going
likely to get your
get paid.
guaranteed return of
Yes.
8%.
Yes. Right. Like if you're someone like, I don't think most of the people watching this are going to be dependent on Social Security, but if you are planning on retiring on Social Security and you're also wanting to have something like this, I think STRC is the thing you want because you want something that's more fixed.
You can count on for,
Yes.
yeah.
More guarantees, I would say. Um, so, um, but yeah, so those are some of the ways to look at that. The last little bit, I'm just scrolling through my new. Okay, how could you use these to pass on wealth? Um, uh, Probably STRC or STRF are going to be your best choices. If you're trying to put some of this money into, say, like some sort of a trust and have it paid out regularly to your heirs, your descendants, your children, grandchildren, whatever, STRC is going to be again the it's going to be subject to the least amount of change in how much is getting paid out. It's going to be much more consistent than the other ones over time. STRF will still pay, it will pay better, and it still has good protections, but you are subject to a little bit more of change in how it's going to get potential change, I should say, and how much gets paid out, right? If you're trying to leave something really simple and really stable, I definitely think STRC is the one you want to look at. I think as strategy gets to a point where they've got a proven track record of managing these offerings really well, I think this is going to be comparable to a good annuity. Actually, it might be comparable to a great annuity, to be honest. Um, and so STRC is going to be simple to manage. It's going to be it should be the most stable in terms of what it pays out. But I would also say too, like the 10% over time may be really easy for if Mike or if strategy manages their money well and keeps it mostly in Bitcoin. I think it's over time, it's going to be easy for them to pay out 10% or even higher in certain situations. So you have to consider that as well. We can't see the future, so we're making our some educated guesses here, but yeah, for keeping things super simple and stable in terms of income, that it pays out, STRC is going to be your best bet to if you're going to use that to pass wealth on to future generations. If you want to be able to pass on growth to future generations using one of these, personally, I just want to say also, I think the best way to pass on growth to future generations is to pass Bitcoin onto them
Yeah,
and to
set up
teach.
an individual wallet and put some Bitcoin into him, and then, at your passing, you give them the passphrases to it, and all of a sudden they've got, that's the best potential growth of all, I think.
Yeah, agreed.
Without, yeah. And
I would just say train them on how to use it, train them on how Bitcoin works, train them to value it for the long term. Because if you just put this in your will and it gets distributed out, to each family member, and they don't really know how to manage Bitcoin, they don't understand the mindsets needed to use it to preserve wealth beyond themselves. It's what's going to happen is like what happens with most people that get an inheritance and a lump sum. They spend it. They spend it in a year or less. I can't remember the last time I read something about that, but it's like I think, I don't know, a high percentage, 70, 80%, I don't remember the exact number, spend their inheritance within the first year.
Yeah, it's like lottery winners who, after a couple
Yes.
of years, end up in worse financial condition than they were
Yes.
in before they won the lottery.
Yeah.
So
They don't, well, they've
if
just not
you
been
didn't build
trained
it up,
how to manage that
that's
money,
right.
you know?
And if you didn't build it up yourself, you don't really respect it, and it's just extra
Yes.
spending money. It's
Yes.
found money that I can
It's
go,
found money.
you know
Yes. Yeah. They don't see it as like this could be an income stream for the rest of your life, right? Maybe you inherit something in your 20, 30, 40. And I will say that we did this. We put money into our home that Kristen had inherited. And to be honest, it's one of my biggest regrets in our financial journey was doing that, because if I had just kept that where it was and in a index fund and let it grow until I became aware of Bitcoin and put it into Bitcoin, I feel like that could be worth millions now. And I just didn't understand that at the time. And most people don't. Most people don't have
Yeah,
that
you don't
viewpoint.
know what you
Uh,
don't know.
you don't know what you don't know. And that's where I would say, if you're watching this video and you're starting to learn about these things, teaching your children how to manage this money, giving them opportunities to manage some and invest it, and showing them how successful people have done this with low risk and got high rewards over time. That's what you want to do, not just set up some inheritance plan that they get a big lump sum of money and don't know how to do with that. I also want to say, I know some people who have inherited money from a trust fund where it gets paid out regularly, and I've seen people like that grow dependent on it at a younger age, and it like demotivates them. They don't, so again, they weren't trained on how to use this. And instead of it being a nice supplement or something that they save up to and invest so it's even more powerful for them down the road, it actually undermined them in terms of what they did in their life, in their working life, because they had this crutch, if you will. So I think regardless of how you do this, you want to educate your kids, especially, and your grandkids, whoever you're passing it on directly to, so they understand how money works, so they understand how investments work, so they understand the power that they're going to receive when this stuff gets passed on to them, and they can spend it all at once, or they can use it and build like big long-term wealth for themselves,
Right.
and pass it on
And
for
today.
future generations and whatnot. So, but yeah. Anyways, I think that covers pretty well some of those things. If
Okay.
anybody watching this has more questions, definitely post them in First Step Bitcoin, or in the comments wherever you're seeing this, and um, I'm happy to look into your questions and answer them. And if I need to go and dig and do some more research, if things are unclear, let me know. I'll do that as well. This was a good project for me to learn more about what they were. I knew they were offering these things. I didn't know a ton about what they were trying to achieve with these. And now, like, this was a question from the community. I feel like I know a lot more about this. And I appreciate that, Nancy, who put this question forward. And hopefully this is helpful to you, Nancy, and to the other members of the First Step Bitcoin community. So, all right, Dad. Any last thoughts?
Not really. Just I'm going to go try the food court at H Mart.
Yeah, go see if they have one. Did you look it up yet? Do they have one down there?
I know there's an H Mart here, but I don't
Yeah, so
know if
you're
they
gonna go
got a
check
food
it
court.
out, see what
Yeah,
they've got.
I'm just going to have to go look.
Gotcha. Nice. All right. Well, thanks for being on today, Dad.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
Yep.
All right. We'll see you next
And
time.
happy birthday yesterday.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.